Shabbat Shalom Mishpacha, this is Rabbi Simon. We give thanks to God that we are here in another week and safe and well. In Baruch Hashem, we petition before God, we give thanks that God has helped us along the way. God has taken us out and brought us back in, has provided our food, shelter and clothing, has protected us with His angels around about us. We give thanks to you, God, and we lift up your holy name. We thank you. Amen. Amen. So, coming to the lecture and the subject matter and the parsha, the Torah portion this week is the portion from Genesis chapter 25, which is on Isaac. We'll look at that in a second. But before that, just the general goings on in the world. Updates. Ukraine, Russia war continues unabated. Russia continues to pound Ukraine and destroying the weapons there. America continues to help with the allies, and Russia claims that they are continuing to destroy their weapons. The war in Israel, between Gaza and Israel, that started, that continues to rage on. From what I know and understood, from what I've seen, the news on the east is that the Palestinian fighters, they have destroyed quite a few Israeli tanks and their vehicles. They also claim that they have taken down a Israeli drone, and there's also claim, I think it might be by the Yemeni fighters, that they took down an American Reaper drone, which is quite expensive. They disabled it and took it down. I'm not sure if it was destroyed or not. But in Israel's war, Israel's fighter jets have actually fired upon their own people and killed their own people, killed some of the hostages as well. So the war isn't exactly going in the favor of Israel right now, as it appears. This is the first time that the Palestinian fighters have actually done any significant damage to Israel's military capability. But as I said last week, that Israel's military, you got a hodgepodge of conscripts, they are in there, not really military men. They are not seasoned fighters. As I said this before, that Israel doesn't really have a lot of seasoned fighters. So this myth about Israeli idea being the best in the world is just a myth. I'm sorry, that is just not true. There are much stronger and better armies other places. I don't keep my head in the sand, so I'm not going to pretend that Israel's got the best military. It isn't. And you can see the results on the screen of space. What results we are seeing right now is that Israel is taking a lot of casualties. Men wearing t-shirts, broken shoes, are taking tanks out with $300 missiles made in their backyard. Tanks that are worth $15-16 million are just being knocked down. So that should really give a pause for us to think. I think, well, it doesn't matter what I think, but I'm only telling you what I see on the ground. So this is what's happening on the ground. America has sent a boatload of weapons. America sent probably a plane full of weapons, boatload as well. They sent maybe $15 billion worth of weapons to Israel, advanced weapons, lasers, you name it, they sent it. Now, I'm not sure what to say, but this is what people are thinking. They are thinking that there may be a bigger war on the horizon, maybe with surrounding nations. Some people are positing that why would America send $15 billion worth of weapons if it's just to fight Hamas. So they think there may be a further war with some other nations. Now, of course, right now, Yemen is involved fighting Israel, and they said that they will target their ships, food ships, that are coming through the Gulf of Yemen and some other waters nearby. The Hezbollah is involved through Lebanon, firing at Israeli checkposts and soldiers, and they've done a little bit of damage as well on that side. So overall, I don't think any other nation is involved yet with Israel in a war, although Turkey, just said a few words against Netanyahu, not good words, called him a fascist and things like that. But other than that, I think nothing major is going on. However, what I'm seeing, or what is showing on the horizon, is if Gaza has energy. This is something I spoke about, that this war could be related to energy that Gaza has in the ground around the sea, and maybe that is what Israel is after, and that's why they're going to try to take over Gaza. They're going to try to occupy it by having their presence there, and maybe that's why they're trying to clear the people out as well. This is kind of on the horizon. America seems to be making noises that it's not in favor of Gaza occupation, things like that. Anyway, we shall wait and see what happens there. I will continue to say that continue to pray for both people for a peaceful resolution where they can both live in amicable peace side by side. I do not think that the solution is that Israel occupies Gaza. I don't think that's the solution. Maybe that's an interim solution, not a long term. But I do believe that this back and forth, tit for tat, will continue until something is done on the table in speech and writing. So until that happens, that's what I believe will be going forward. Now, those people that believe that the Messiah will come and sort things out, they are, all I can say is they're living in cuckoo land, because what if the Messiah takes 1,000 years to come? What if it doesn't appear for another 1,000 years? What, is he going to come? People are going to wait 1,000 years to fix this problem? No, they're not. This problem can be fixed by us, the people on the ground. We can fix this problem, not the Messiah. Messiah is simply going to bring in the Torah into the land, which doesn't exist right now. Torah government, which don't exist in Israel. When you don't have Torah government, what did I tell you? That you are opened up. Your fence is, you got gaps in your fence. God is not protecting you. So if you didn't believe me, well, go look at Israel's state right now. Go, come towards the east. Pick up some channels on the east which are showing you the true news, and you'll get to see how Israel's being relentlessly being punished. And if that is not punishment, I don't know what is. Come on, if what's happening to Israel right now is not punishment, is not the fence being opened up wide by God, then I don't know what is. I'm just looking. I'm not against Israel, by the way. I'm not against Israel, and I'm not against the Palestinians either. I am simply saying that there has to be a solution on the ground that has to work for both people so they can coexist. That's how people live. They have to coexist. People can't kill each other and live like that. You can't just destroy one people and hope for the best and you live the rest of your life peaceful days. It doesn't happen like that. There has to be some kind of coexistence in which both people can live, thrive, run their lives. Sure, I know, and I don't think it needs to be told, that the land of Israel belongs to the 12 tribes who are predominantly not there. Okay, let's make that clear as well. The 12 tribes are not there yet, but it does belong to the 12 tribes, the sons of Jacob, There are portions of the land, which I already had said before, portions of the land, coastal portions, that does not belong to Israel in any shape or form. I don't care what anybody says or believes or writes. Those portions, as I have stated in my previous discussions, do not belong to Israel. And if Israel tries to hold on to them, it will simply mean further war, further aggravation, further people being killed and injured and murdered and things like that, which is definitely not something that none of us would want that kind of thing. So that's basically where Israel is at this point in time. Israel doesn't have a lot of friends right now, by the way. A lot of people are not friends of Israel. There's a lot of protests around the world against Israel. And I don't want to say any more than that, because you just look at your news. That is, if your news is being truthful. Majority of the time it may not be, but if it's being truthful, then you'll get to see what's going on. And I think this is why I said you have to tap in to the news outside of America to get any truth. So with that, continue to pray. Let's also pray that God brings Torah government into Israel, brings righteous men that make righteous choices, so that the nation can flourish. Baruch Hashem. So that's where we are with that. Now our parsha is Toldot. In book of Genesis, chapters 25, it says, this is the genealogy of Yitzhak, Abraham's son. Abraham begot Yitzhak. Yitzhak was 40 years old when he took Rivkah as a wife, the daughter of Bethuel, the Syrian of Padan Aram, the sister of Lavan, the Syrian. Now it says, Yitzhak pleaded with Yahoshua for his wife because she was barren, and Yahoshua granted his plea, and Rivkah, his wife, conceived. So in this little portion, what we see is that, number one, it doesn't say that Yitzhak was not married. Okay, it says he took Rivkah as wife, means this was Isaac's second wife, by the way. Isaac was already married. His first wife is non-disclosure. She's not mentioned in the Bible. She's not of any importance, so she was never mentioned. She came from the family of Abraham's first wife, and so therefore that second wife has never been mentioned here. The first wife, rather. The first wife is not mentioned here. She didn't have much role to play. Okay, she came from Keturah's family. So since she doesn't have any role to play, she's not mentioned. Now, the one that plays the role of a prince or the ruling prophet would be Rivkah. Usually it's the second wife in the north, Rivkah being in the north, the other wife being in the south. So the other wife in the south is not mentioned in scripture, and Rivkah is mentioned. She's in the north. She's a princely wife. She's the one to give birth to Isaac's son, Jacob, and then the life continues. However, she has twins, as you know. She had twins, Esau and Jacob. So therefore we got this wrestling match between the two boys, who's going to win. Esau was of course maybe bigger by a few minutes, and so therefore he considers himself the elder, and Jacob is a younger, number 2. And so in this regard, always number 2 is the one that God chooses to lay upon him the responsibility to either carry the prophethood or to carry the charge. This is why Esau was removed from the prophethood, and Jacob was chosen instead. And even though in the story, as you see that Jacob bought the birthright, in other words, Esau sold his birthright for a plate of lentil, and so therefore scripture tells you that he sold his birthright, meaning his inheritance, and because he was very hungry, although he later denies it, that he didn't do that, but he did do that. So this is basically where we are with this story. What's very interesting in this parallel, in terms of what I would say, in terms of not so much systematic theology, but in terms of mystical interpretation. Genealogy of Yitzhak, Abraham's son. Abraham begot Yitzhak. Yitzhak was 40 years old when he took Rivka as wife, the daughter of Bethuel, the Syrian of Padan Aram, the sister of Laban the Syrian. And says, now it clearly mentions, look at what it actually clearly mentions. It mentions that these people came from abroad. They were not from Israel. Abraham was living in Israel, yet he did not want to marry his son to the local Canaanite people because he didn't trust them. They were not into good things. They were into bad things. So he did not want to marry his son here. He married his son over there. Now, here's the other thing. Those people were not in Torah either. Notice that? See, you asked the question, hey, should I marry a Torah wife, not a Torah wife? And look what is shown over here. What is shown over here? Rivka was not in Torah. She was a non-Torah wife. Then when she became the wife of Isaac, she would then slowly adapt Torah as her faith through her husband. That's what would happen. So when you ask the question, can I marry a woman outside? The answer is yes. As long as that woman loves you, as long as she respects you, as long as she's willing to let you continue to be the head of the household and to continue to do the right thing, be a Torah observant fella, then there's no problem. The problem only starts when a woman doesn't want you to do that and switch to some other religion that she carries. That's when the problems really start. And if there's that scenario, then you simply avoid that person as a wife. That's not a wife figure at that point. Similarly, I was dealing with somebody and they said that their husband was from a non-Torah background. Now this is the thing. A woman should try not to take a man from outside Torah. Sure, one could argue that what if the man really loves her and wants her to continue Torah, then that could be looked at. Definitely could be looked at. If the man really loved her, he wanted her to continue in her faith of Torah, and he wasn't just quite ready yet, or he needed more time, then that's something you can look at. But I would simply say avoid the marriage yet. Continue to date, court, continue to court, but don't tie the knot yet. Not until you're fully sure that this man is right for you. Because you can't be sure, just if you're just dating somebody for I don't know, you're just dating somebody for maybe 2 months and you decide to marry, I think that'll be too short of a time. When you do courtship, I would advise you to take some counseling from myself, whether you should be engaged to marry, because some of you have done that and now regretting your actions because it turns out that the man wasn't exactly where he should have been, and now he's causing you problems because he's pulling and pushing. He wants to do some other religious act and you want to do something else, and the twain can't meet. Not even about religious act. Forget about the religious act. The man and the woman are just not in sync. The man wants to do something else. The woman wants to develop her life, her business, her family life, but the man is not interested. So these kind of men there are plenty of men like that out there who are not interested in what you want to do. They are more interested in what they want to do, and they are being pulled and pushed by a third religious system that is totally contrary Torah. Contrary Torah means it's not even close. So this is something I would advise that you take care and don't run into it. The reason why Abraham sent his son to marry this family girl was because he knew his family. He knew that she would be the right kind of wife that would conform to his son's faith and his son's way of life and living, and that's what we see what happened in the end. So it's interesting, but also note that it says that now Yitzhak, she wasn't with us, she didn't have a son for a while, and so she was complaining to Isaac that I'm not getting children, so you pray to God that I may get a child. And then Isaac prays to God and they get a child. Now, and it says here, then, and the children struggled together within her, and she said, if it's all well, why am I this way? So she went to inquire of Yudhe-Wahe. Who did she go to inquire of? Because there was no priesthood at the time. However, when she went for inquiry, there was somebody there called Shem. He was from from Noah's 3 sons, and he was a teacher, and he was close to God, so he was able to tell Rebecca what was going on. So he told her, when it says here, and Yudhe-Wahe said to her, it's not Yudhe-Wahe said to her, it's Shem said to her. Shem told her that 2 nations are in your womb, 2 people shall be separated from your body, one shall be stronger than the other, and the older shall serve the younger. So when the days were fulfilled for her to give birth, indeed there were twins in her womb, and the first came out of reddish brown, and he was like a hairy garment of all over, so they called him Esau. And afterwards the second came out, and who took hold of Esau's heel to protect his head, so his name was called Yaakov. And Yitzhak was 60 years old when she bore them. In other words, it took 20 years. Isaac got married at 40, and Jacob was born at 60, 20 years later. So the boys grew, and Esau was a skillful hunter, a man of the field, but Yaakov was a complete man dwelling in tents. And by the way, this reading is from the Hidden Truths Hebraic Scrolls. And Yitzhak loved Esau because he ate of his game, but Rivkah loved Yaakov. Now Yaakov cooked a stew, and Esau came from the field, and he was starving. And Esau said to Yaakov, please feed me with that reddish stew, for I'm starving. Therefore his name was called Edom. And Yaakov said, sell me a birthright as of this day. And Esau said, look, I am about to die, so what profit shall the birthright be to me? So Yaakov said, swear to me as of this day. So he swore to him and sold his birthright to Yaakov. In other words, birthright meant you were willing to give your inheritance to another, and he did that. So it was given, so therefore Yaakov became the rightful owner of his, because it goes to the firstborn. He was the firstborn, but he sold it. So Yaakov was the rightful inheritor of that. It is not deceptive, as Christians think that perhaps Jacob was deceptive. He stole the birthright. No, he didn't. And Jacob means deceiver. Jacob does not mean deceiver. That's another unfortunate, bad translation ideas and ideology that some Christians carry. In fact, most Christians carry that, which is incorrect. So we see a lot of synopsis here, we see a lot of parallels, and we see lots going on. And here, remember, it says, now Yitzhak pleaded with Yodhe-Wahe for his wife, because she was barren. So this is where I come, and I tell you that if you want something from God, you got to get up early in the morning, 3 to 5 a.m., and that's when you do your prayers. If you do your prayers at that time, you do your journal that time, you're going to do much better. You're going to be much, much, much better off in your life. You're going to get the things you desire, because that is the time that your brain is most susceptible to accept the things that you're asking. Because remember, through your brain, we channel our prayers through our brain. They go through our brain, where the connection is to God. So in order to make that connection, if you get up early in the morning and you do your writing or your affirmations or your prayers, and that is the best time to reach to God. And of course, some of you who wish to go back to sleep, if you get up to pray and you do your prayers, your affirmations, and then you want to go back to sleep, sure you can, no problem. You can go back to bed and get up again later when you need to. But ideally, get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I would say get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, do your prayers, do your affirmations, and then if you wish to go back to bed, you can, and then get up again at a later time when you need to go to work or whatever you do. Okay, so this is my suggestion. When people ask me, I tell them get up at 3, put your alarm at 3, do your prayers, do your affirmations, do your journaling. When you've done those 3 things, maybe it takes you half an hour, to do that. And you do that, take half an hour, 3:30. If you wish to, you can go back to bed, and you can then, get up later, 6, 7, 8, whatever time you do. So that's perfectly fine. You can do that to bring in your manifestations, bring in your desires. As I told you that every night you go to bed, you're going to believe that you have a $3 million in your bank, and that you're going to spend some money to purchase some things that you like, gifts, whatever, and the other money, the rest of the money you're going to invest, so you can bring in $5,000 to $10,000 a month as income. So those are the things I want you to rehearse day in, day out for at least 90 days before you take any rest, any break. And then I want you to continue again until it manifests. So I want you to continue to do that. The other thing I spoke about, and I said to you constantly, and I repeat, that you need to set 20 minutes, 3 segments of 20 minutes. And you need to set your affirmation, whatever affirmation you're speaking, you need to set it so you speak it for 20 minutes. Then you take a break, then 20 minutes. Then you take a break, then 20 minutes. Take a break doesn't mean wait 20 minutes. Take a break means take 30 seconds off and then start again. So just like bodybuilding, when you go to the gym, you're building your body, you're trying to lose weight, you're trying to be fit. You don't just go to the gym one time and then take 6 days off. You go to the gym, maybe you take a day off, and then you go to the gym again. Maybe you take another day off, then you go to the gym again. Or you do, what I would do is go to the gym, for 4 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then you take 3 days off. That's how you would do it. You give yourself 4 days to train, 3 days to rest. So in affirmations, you give yourself 20 minutes, 20 minutes, 20 minutes, 1 hour. Then maybe you give yourself 15-minute rest. Then you start again. The more you do robotic affirmations, the faster you'll get your reality, the faster you get your desire. I have $3 million in the bank. Simple statement. I have $3 million in the bank. Or another simple statement. Why have I $3 million in the bank? You do that for 20 minutes, 3 times. You can do the same affirmation 3 times. And then you do it for every day. Do it for every day. Now here you're not going to do 4 days, 3 days off because you're not doing gym work. Here you can do daily. Daily you pick an hour. You pick 1 hour or 2 hours in the day when you're free, when you're undisturbed, when you're by yourself. And you don't have to speak them, you just have to utter them in your mind. And you can only speak, I'd encourage you to speak if you're alone. If you're not alone, you got people around you or whatever, you live in a family, then you just sit down and you can just speak them in your mind. Why have I $3 million in my account? Why I have $3 million in my account? Why I have $3 million in my account, or I easily have $3 million in my account. I easily have $3 million in my account. Both will work. Both will work, by the way. But it's how, whatever fits you, whatever you feel suits you, you continue with that, and that will work for you. Those of you looking for health, and looking for removing any illness, then the simple one is, I am completely healthy and whole. I am completely healthy and whole. I'm completely healthy and whole. I am completely healthy and whole. I am completely healthy and whole. Continue to repeat that. Robotic affirmations are the fastest way to bring something into your life. Healing, money, relationship, anything. Self-concept, as I say, is also another way, because some people's self-concept is all screwed up. They need self-concept. Things like, affirmations like, I am chosen. I am high priority. I am the best. I am lucky. These are self-concept type of affirmations which you do to lift up yourself, yourself. If you're feeling down, if you're feeling low, you do that to lift yourself up, and that will help you to lift yourself up, and that will also help you to manifest other things. I'm always very lucky. I am always treated as high priority. I am number one. I am chosen, etc. I am great. These are all great affirmations for you to speak and read and write, even if you want to write them. And health ones will help you if you're having any health issues. They'll help you in health issues. Maybe that, remember, if you're finding it's taking longer, one of the key reasons why it takes longer is your mindset. What are you daily thinking? What is your thinking? Are you thinking every day negatively? There are times during the day when we might think negative. Are you thinking negative during the day? If you are, then that could impact it, and that could cause a resistance. So try and check yourself. Every time you think negative, tell yourself it's only a thought. It's only the thought that is negative, not you. So you could tell yourself it's only the thought. Let it go through, let it pass. And I am not negative, but the thought is, so I let the thought go. You check the thought, you tag it, you let it go. So you know that it's only your thought that is negative, but not you as a person. You as a person are not negative, but the thought is. So then you let go of the thought, and you don't allow it to dwell. Don't allow it to dwell. Don't allow a victim mentality to dwell. A lot of people have victim mentality. Victim mentality is where you continue to think you are the victim and the other person is a victimizer. And when you live in a victim mentality, you will cause great harm to yourself. So try and always be a non-victim. Try to be the hero. Try to be the heroine. Live in that mentality. Listen to uplifting music. Don't listen to damp, depressed music. Listen to uplifting music that lifts you up, that gives you good mood. And while you're doing your uplifting music, do some imagination exercises in that. Imagine some scene of whatever you're desiring to have. Imagine that scene during your uplifted music. It will help you tremendously. So these are the things that you do every day, and you must do them consistently. Don't just do them one day and then forget about the next and then come back to it another day. No, don't do that. Do it every day. Do it consistently. When you do it every day, you do it consistently, it will benefit you greatly. Okay? It will build you up. It will bring good things into your life. Things will start to change and roll, and things will start to happen. Things will shift. Things will shift for you. But you've got to be serious. Remember, if you give yourself 1 good hour, just 1 good hour of 20 minutes, 3 segments, you'll do well. But I'd suggest you do a little bit more than that if you can. Give yourself a couple of hours a day, and you can't say that you're not priority. You are priority. Whatever you desire is priority. It's not that it's not priority. It is priority. But you got to tell yourself that you are priority and your desire is coming in fast. For those of you who are trying to win the lottery, one tip I will give you is this: that majority of the people out there who want to win the lottery, they continue to tell themselves, oh, I can't be me, it can't be me because I never win and other people always win. So they keep telling themselves that as a first negative. Second thing they keep telling themselves is that maybe they're not meant to, yet they continue to play the lottery. Third, they keep thinking, oh, out of the 300 million, how can I win? These are the kind of negatives that keep repeating. If you keep repeating these negatives, of course you won't win. So what you got to do? you got to do is turn it around, and you're going to tell yourself from now on, the lottery is easy, winning is easy, winning the jackpot is very easy. It's as easy as drinking a cup of coffee. Winning the lottery jackpot is as easy as drinking a cup of coffee. It's easy. So when you keep telling yourself that, instead of the other negatives that you before you spoke of, you keep telling yourself that winning the lottery is easy. It's as easy as drinking a cup of coffee. And then the lottery will become easy for you to win. You will start making lottery winning numbers. You know, when you say, and you can add on to that, you can say, the lottery is rigged in my favor. I'm always getting winning numbers. The lottery is rigged in my favor. I'm always making winning numbers. So you start speaking like that, and when you start to fill and get different lottery numbers, you'll start to find that you start winning prizes. Prizes start to come in because now your mindset is changing. You're no longer thinking, oh, it's so hard. Oh, I'm never the one. You remove yourself from that equation, and then things will start to flip. You will start to make more winning numbers. You will start to not only make more winning numbers, one day you'll strike the jackpot. That's how you strike jackpots. You continue to tell yourself that, yeah, it's easy. Winning the lottery is easy. It's easy as drinking a cup of coffee. It's so easy. Yeah, I can do it. It's no problem. It's easy. Just as I drink my coffee, I can win the lottery jackpot. Boom. And your mind is ready for that. You got to train your mind. When you train your mind, things will become easier for you. Now, there is a verse in the Bible which says if the two can't walk together, then they can't, to that kind of, I'm kind of paraphrasing. I'm paraphrasing of the verse which people continue to take in the wrong way. When two can't walk together, how can they be, to that effect? When two cannot walk together unless they agree. So, what does that actually mean? Let me give you an interesting meaning in that. When two cannot walk together unless they agree, it's in the book of Amos, chapter 3, verse 3. Two cannot walk together unless they have agreed to do so. Two people or two persons or two whatever. So what that doesn't necessarily have to mean two people cannot, two people cannot do this and blah blah blah. No, there's actually a better. Can two walk together? So in the King James version, there's question asked: can two walk together except they be agreed? So who are these two? These two, by the way, that are trying to work together is not people. It's you and your mind. If your mind is saying, hey, I can't do this, and you're saying, yes, I can, the two are not together. In other words, conscious, subconscious. Consciously, you're saying to yourself one thing, and otherwise you're believing another thing. So you have to be together in sync. Both your conscious, subconscious have to be in sync. This is why you do robotic affirmation. Robotic affirmation means that now you're in sync. What you believe, what you have stated, now you are become in sync, and now it will come for you. It will happen. In other words, you're no longer double-minded. You're no longer believing that, it never happens for me, this is no good for me, I can't do this, why it never works for me, blah blah blah, and so on and so forth. You understand? This is when you do that. When you do it that way, you're going to find that it's going to work beautifully for you. Beautifully. It's going to work so beautifully, you're going to be like, wow, how come I never did this before? How come I didn't know about this? How come I wasn't taught this? These are the things that I'm trying to teach you. I'm trying to teach you to be mindful. Be careful of what you're thinking, because if you're thinking negatively, If you're thinking negatively, but you like to think positively, then you got to be positive. Be positive. Be positive. Be always positive. Because if you think positive, then positive will come to you. Positive will happen for you. So I want you to remember that, is that don't think one thing and yet right you are saying another. In other words, don't let yourself be, oh yeah, only if I wish I could do this and blah blah blah, and then suddenly you say to yourself, but I am this, and like if I did this, then if I did that, you're kind of like in double mind. You can't be saying I want to be a millionaire and yet questioning yourself, but how can I be a millionaire? That's double-mindedness, okay? That's the two not in agreement. When you're saying I am a millionaire, then you're telling yourself it's easy to be a millionaire. If your affirmation is I am a millionaire, then your other thinking is it's easy to be a millionaire. Hey, there's so many of them out there. It's easy to be a millionaire. Being a millionaire is as easy as drinking a cup of coffee. Being a millionaire is as easy as drinking a cup of coffee. So that is what the Bible, that verse from Amos 3:3 is telling you, is you got to be in agreement with yourself, your mind. When it's in agreement, then God will send it to you. Okay, so with that, I'm going to say to continue to be positive, continue to live a positive life, continue to make the right choices, try to remove distractions, continue to practice every day. Be serious. Be like a seasoned sportsman, a sportswoman. Be seasoned, be disciplined, continue to practice, continue to do. Set aside time every day. First, get up in the morning, 3 o'clock, do your journaling. Do your journaling before you go to sleep. Then be positive. Think good. Think good things to yourself. And of course, there's a lot of bad things happening around us, bad, media things happening around us. Don't worry about that so much. Those things are going to continue to happen. Those things will continue to happen in some shape or form because there's always some conflict somewhere in the world. We're not responsible for the conflicts in the world, technically, but we might be. If we continue to think negative, then maybe we are responsible for the conflicts in the world. So we got to switch to a positive, peaceful thinking. Anywhere there's a conflict, we think peaceful for them. We think peace. We think love. We think harmony. You know what is the fastest way? You know what is the fastest way to get your desire? Through love. Love is the one key. That is the fastest way to get your desire. Be loving to everybody. Be loving to everyone. Note, be loving to everyone. Be loving to everyone. Always, even if somebody is bad to you, try to be loving. Please, be loving to everyone. It is the fastest way to achieve your goals. I thank you for listening to me. I can tell you a lot more. Maybe I'll save it for next week. Okay, I'll save that for next week. So have a wonderful Shabbat, wonderful week ahead. May God bless you, safeguard you, and keep you safe. Shalom, shalom.